Hey mama, I am super, super pumped to have you joining me today for the 100th episode of the One Income Family Podcast. I'm super excited about it. This journey, it's been such a wonderful experience, and I love that I get to share what I know with you so that you can take it and grow in your budgeting journey, creating a life that you enjoy and that your budget backs up. And that, my friend, is exactly what you are going to see in today's episode. To get a life that you enjoy, you need, to strengthen your saving muscle, because you didn't set these goals only to watch yourself spend the money needed to reach those goals, right? You also want to be able to reach those goals in a timely manner. So, if you are ready to stay on track with your savings and debt goals, then this episode is for you. Today, I am going to give you 3 ways to reach those financial goals you so badly want to achieve, and I'm going to help you do it faster. So plug in your headphones, grab yourself a fun drink, and let's jump in. Do you find it hard to save or get out of debt? Are you constantly searching for ways to save money and live on a budget? Do you have big dreams only to be stopped by not sticking to your budget? Are you ready for financial freedom? Then you, mama, are in the right place. Welcome to the One Income Family Podcast, where you will learn what it looks like to budget on one income, how to partner with God in your finances, how to budget in a way that's easy to stick to, and how to cut costs and save money, all so that you can start building wealth. It is my mission to equip you with these tools so that you can live in abundance regardless of the amount in your account. Hey, I'm Molly, a budget coach for stay-at-home moms, and I know what it's like to struggle on one income. I've lived paycheck to paycheck, relied on being frugal, and failed many budgets until I learned how to budget without tracking. This has allowed my family to pay off debt and build wealth all on one income. So, if you are ready for financial freedom, then go grab that stroller, plug in those headphones, and let's get to it. Hey mama, do you find that you either have next to nothing extra after paying bills, or maybe a lot extra, making it super difficult to buy groceries and gas each and every week, and you're just sick of the inconsistency? I was you. My husband, he got paid bi-weekly, and we were stuck in the paycheck to paycheck lifestyle. We paid our bills first, which left us with inconsistent amounts after each pay period to put towards everything else, right? We either had a whole lot or we had a whole little. It was hard to track. It was hard to save. Budgeting was a nightmare. That's what I don't want you to have to deal with any longer. By booking yourself a budget audit, you can achieve the financial peace you are looking for. It's time to get out of the paycheck to paycheck cycle that you are living in. It's time to be able to start saving money and working with consistent amounts each time you go to budget, even if you have an inconsistent income. If this is something that you are looking for, all you have to do is email me at mollybennell@gmail.com with the subject line budget audit, so that we can figure out the steps you need to take to get you from where you are to where you want to be. Again, all you have to do is email me at mollybennell@gmail.com. That's MOLLY, B as in boy, ENELL @gmail.com with the subject line budget audit. And I cannot wait to start working with you. Alrighty, so I hope your day is going as great as mine is, because like I said, I'm super stoked that this is the 100th episode. Yes, I know that I have more than 100 episodes out there on the podcast, but this is the official 100 on the episode title, and I could not be more excited. I am super excited that I've gotten this far and that I've been able to help as many of you that have reached out to me and really just further your journey along the way. But before I go down that rabbit trail, let's get into today's episode, which is all about strengthening your savings muscle, which can be so difficult to do if it's not something that you're used to. It's a habit that takes time, and it's something that isn't just like done overnight, right? And that is why I have 3 ways to help you just really dig into this habit to help you to actually achieve your financial goals, because you didn't set these goals only to, watch yourself spend the money that you had planned to put towards a goal or to save towards something, or pay off debt, whatever your goal might be. You didn't make that goal just to watch it sit idle, right? You actually want to achieve that goal, and it takes some consistency, it takes some dedication and hard work to actually get this habit in stone in your brain, in your habits, in your systems and your routines when you sit down to do your budget, each and every payday. And so that is why I wanted to get into this, because it can so easily be something that you're like, oh, I'll do that at the end of the paycheck cycle, and, whatever's left over, I'll put into whatever that is. And I feel like that's what everyone ends up saying is whatever's left over at the end of the pay cycle, I'll put towards whatever it is. But in all reality, when you think of it that way, it doesn't work that way, right? When you see that in your income, you're like, oh, I still have money. I can spend it on getting something else to eat, or maybe getting that drink, or maybe buying that exercise workout that you wanted to get. The options are endless. But when you see that money there, it feels like free money. It feels like you can do with it whatever you please, because it's not going to It feels like it doesn't have a job, if that makes sense. And that's why I have these 3 ways to help you really get into this savings mindset and strengthen that savings muscle so that you can actually achieve these goals and create a budget that actually, exemplifies what it is that you want to do, instead of creating a budget that isn't goal oriented, because that is the goal here. You want to create a budget that allows you to reach and achieve these goals. But it's one thing to have a budget that shows how you can reach and achieve your goals and fulfill your family's needs and your wishes and your wants and all that kind of stuff. But actually, when you get down into the nitty-gritty of it, are you following that budget? 9 times out of 10, no, you're not. And so I want to say that there's nothing wrong with that, right? Because we don't generally follow our budget very well. That's just the way life is. But if you put these 3 habits that I'm going to tell you into play, it's going to make your budget actually be more goal oriented, because you're not just relying on the budget itself to, keep you on track, to keep you in that goal mindset. You're going to have systems in place that keep your budget the way you want it to be. It's not just going to be you having to manhandle it the entire way through the pay cycle. That's where we get off. That's where our temptations get us, and we struggle because we see all these things and the money's in the account, but we don't actually know where that money goes to, which is why it's so good to have a digital cash envelope system, because you can see how much money is in each category, right? But my point here is these systems, these 3 things that I'm going to tell you in a little bit, is going to create habits and systems in place that are hard, set in stone, that are going to strengthen your saving muscle so that you know that that's going to be happening first and foremost. Because if you do not do that first, everything else will come first before that. And then you get into that cycle of, well, I'll do it with whatever's left at the end of the pay cycle. I will move that into the savings, or I will put that towards my debt that needs to be paid off. And that's not what we want. Okay. So that kind of leads me into my first habit. And what I'm going to say is going to be difficult. There's going to be fear that comes in. It's going to be like, well, that's a duh thing, but it's not easy to do in the moment. Trust me, I've been there. I still struggle with it because I still have that, well, what if I need it down the line, right? No. what you need to do is you need to do it on payday. So if you want to save a certain amount every single month and it's in your budget and you know that it's there, you do it that day. You transfer it that like when you sit down and you are doing your budget and you know how much you want into that budget and how much is extra, you transfer it right away. If it's like an odd amount, you transfer it right away, right? If it's not going to be the same every single pay cycle, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just you need to do it on payday. If you want to put that money not into savings, but towards your debt, you do it right then and there when that money hits your account. So then you're not going, oh, I've got free money, I do that in air quotes, just sitting in the account, not being used, waiting till the end of the pay cycle. Well, then it's going to get used up, right? Like that money will be used because that is what our brain thinks. It doesn't say, oh, hold up, wait a second. I've got these boundaries in place. That money is not to be used unless we absolutely have to. No, it just gets easy to use it. It gets easy to say, oh, I've got it in there, I'm going to use it. No, we want to put hard boundaries in place that keep us from using that money. And by transferring it into your savings account right then and there, not being able to see it later on throughout the month or the pay cycle is a great way to do it because it puts those roadblocks in place. You can't transfer out of your savings account more than it's different at each bank, but for my bank, it's like 3 times a month. I think it's 6 or 12. I think it's 12 times a quarter. So that's 3 times or 4 times every 3 months. My math is not going great right now, so bear with me if that math is wrong. But you get what I'm saying. There is hard, set in stone roadblocks that keep you from pulling that money out of the savings. Plus, when you're pulling it out of the savings, there are mindset things that go on and you're like, oh, by using this for this fun stuff, I'm not being able to save for the thing that I really want. Do I need this right now? There's more questions that pop up. There's more things that keep you from pulling it out of the savings rather than putting it into the savings. It's so much easier to use that money when it's in your checking compared to in your savings. So do it on payday. Pay that debt right away with the amount that you know you're going to use left. That's if it's a leftover amount, like I put again in air quotes, if it's an amount that hasn't been exactly, okay, rewind. So what I'm trying to say is with my system, what you have is you have a monthly budget, so a monthly overview of the basics of what you need to be able to pay for, and then what you have after your needs, the income that you can put towards disposable income is like whatever you want to put that towards, your fun, your friends, your entertainment, your bills, your extra, it's the extra kind of stuff. But that is like a set in stone amount each and every time, which then gets transferred over like that outline essentially, so you don't have to redo it every single time, gets put into your paycheck plan. And that is where you're not going to have the exact amount because you might have, some overtime or a bonus or something that comes in with your income, especially if it's not set in stone, right? Because most of the time our income isn't set in stone. It's extremely inconsistent. And so your amount that comes out at the end of your paycheck plan is going to be more than what comes out of your monthly budget, right? So there is where I get my leftover, my air quote, leftover amount that has to be budgeted out. And if your plan for that, again, leftover amount is to go towards your debt or your savings, then that needs to be where it goes right then and there on payday, because that is how you're going to be able to strengthen that savings muscle and achieve those goals faster and on time. I know I kind of say on time and faster, but it's still faster than what you've been doing, right? When you just allow that AKA leftover amount to sit there and dwindle and to be your, miscellaneous amount, you're going to spend it all. If there's like $200 or $300 there, you're going to be like, oh, I've got $200 or $300 to put towards whatever I want. I can go buy the thing that I've been wanting to. And that's okay if that's what you want to do, but you got to know that it's going to go against your goals. But if you do it on payday, every single payday, as a like routine and a habit, and you just get used to doing it, then you don't have to worry about that. Your muscle is going to be strengthened because you will be putting it into a good financial habit that's going to allow you to be able to reach your financial goals and actually like celebrate and achieve them. You won't be able to achieve them if you fall into that just letting it be at the end of the pay cycle. So for the first habit that I want you to get down and I really want you to dig into is to do it first. Like get your budget figured out, get your paycheck plan figured out, and then do it right then and there. Don't do anything else until that is taken care of. And you're going to be able to actually see results. It's going to be faster. It's going to be, actually what you think instead of most of the time we make these plans and our plans just tend to fall further and further and further back. For instance, I wanted to have my car paid off in 18 months. Well, things change and things happen and you don't stay consistent. And that plan goes by the wayside, right? It's natural. There's life events that happen that prevent that from happening. So please don't put this as set in stone as like, if you don't achieve your plan on time as to what you think, then you're wrong and you can't ever stick to your budget. And no, let's not go down that rabbit hole, right? Let's stay where we're at, what we know, and just put good, healthy habits in place so that we can actually achieve our goals at a quicker rate than what we're used to doing, right? Okay, so the next thing you can do is you can build it into your budget. And what I mean here, it's different for both, whether you're saving or you're paying down your debt, right? But what I mean here is if you have the ability to put it into your monthly budget, right? And not just use what we've been calling leftovers at the end of your paycheck plan amount, but you're actually able to build it into your monthly budget, then you can put that money into, like for your debt, you'd put it into your bills system. And how you would do that is you would put say your debt, whatever the debt is, say maybe it's a credit card and you are paying, I'm using even amounts because it's easier for my brain, but you're paying $100 a month, right? So maybe you want to be able to put $300 a month towards that. So you're paying $200 extra towards that. And that is your flat out goal. You don't just want to use like the leftover. You want to have a flat out straight up goal amount that you put towards it, right? So you want to add $200 to this. So you're paying $300 a month towards it. And what you do is you would just put it into your bill system. So when you go to transfer money from your holding account, which is what I call where all your money comes into, when you put it into your holding account and you transfer it on payday, it goes straight into your bills account, because then you won't be able to see that money as a disposable income, right? You'll see it as bill money and you won't touch it. Again, there is a solid boundary in place that keeps you from using that income because you know that it is for bills. And if you take money out of there, you're going to end up being in a hard spot because you won't be able to pay your bills, right? So put that boundary in place, right? Get those boundaries set up by putting that money into your bills account. Like build it into your budget, build it into your bills account. If you want to be able to save, just transfer that money right then and there. Like if you're able to put it again into your monthly budget and you're not using what we've been calling leftover income, that disposable income at the end of your paycheck plan, then definitely put it in your savings account. Transfer it again right there on payday. That is where, when we do it on payday, whether it's going into the savings account or being paid right then and there, or getting put into your bill system, if it's built into your budget, you can have now 2 different boundaries in place that are going to keep you from spending that income as if it were disposable income. It will help you achieve those goals that you are searching for, be able to get rid of debt faster, save up for whatever it is faster, because you're not seeing it as disposable income that you can put towards anything you want in the moment. There are boundaries in place. The third thing you can do, again, just builds up on the last one, is to automate it. You can automate your savings right then and there. Like, the only time you probably wouldn't be able to automate it is if you're doing the system where at the beginning, or where you're using the money at the end of your paycheck plan. So your leftover amount, the money that could be disposable, right? If you're using that money that you don't know how much it's going to be, then no, you can't automate it. But you can automate it if it's in your budget, right? So you can still have money for savings in your monthly budget, in your set in stone thing that you use every single paycheck plan. You know how much money goes where, and then you have your leftover income at the end of the paycheck plan, right? You can have that automated, like put into savings right then and there, so you don't see it as a disposable income. And then you can still, at the end of that paycheck plan, when you see what's left over, you can put that right then and there towards more of your debt, more of your savings. So you can, layer these systems, these routines, these boundaries on top of each other, and you have a solid plan that gets you to where you want to be faster. It gets you to your goal. It helps you achieve that success in a faster manner, instead of, worrying about whether or not you're going to be able to do it, whether you're going to have enough money at the end of the pay cycle. You do it right then and there. Your budget tells you if you can do it or if you can't. You just have to be willing to put these systems, to put these boundaries in place, which are hard and set in stone, because once you do it, there's no going back, right? Which then brings me, to my bonus point that I had to touch on a little bit, because this can be scary. Like, you like to leave it in your income account so that you are able to pull from it, right? If you forget something, or if there's something miscellaneous, or some emergency comes up, right? You want to be able to have that money, but you don't want to do that every single paycheck. Because again, it's going to be, in your eyes, disposable income. When you go in the moment to buy whatever it is, and you look at how much money is left in your spending account, you're going to be like, I have the money. I can do whatever I want with it, right? But you're not going to remember your goals. You're not going to remember your budget right then and there with you, unless you pull it out. But nobody wants to do that, right? Nobody wants to be that person that, oh, hang on, let me see if I've got it in the budget. Let me pull out my budget and see what I've got. No, nobody wants to do that. That's no fun. It's kind of embarrassing, and we don't want to be that person. We want to know how much we have, when we're able to use it, how we're able to use it, and that's what our budget is for, and that's what these boundaries are for, because they help you be able to see where your money's going and create these habits that allow you to actually achieve your goal, instead of relying on like the leftover income to actually go where we want it to go at the end of the pay cycle. Like, here I am laughing about it because it's laughable, right? You know that it's not likely going to happen. Again, it's going to become disposable income in your eyes, and you're going to spend it. That's just, it's the way it is. That's the way we are. It's normal. But again, if you put these habits in place, you're going to be able to achieve your financial goals much faster than what you're currently doing it. So my bonus that I want to touch on is to help you take away the fear that you could need that leftover income, right? So if you're putting it into your monthly budget, there's no fear behind it. There's no, oh my gosh, I may need that money, because you're creating a zero-based budget. You want that money to go into the savings. You can automate it. It just makes it simple, right? Like, there's no fear, there's no anxiety behind it. But when you get to the end of your paycheck plan, there is anxiety with like making that account have a zero, like the income account. When you make it have a zero, you're like, oh my gosh, what if something happens? What if I forgot to buy something? What if I need to do all these sort of things? What if somebody wants to go do something and I don't have money and I'd like to really be able to do it? Or I forgot that something was coming up and I used all my income and now I need some more spending money to do this activity that I already said I'd do like 2 months ago, right? That is what you need to put into your budget. You need to have some cushions. You have to decide, like, do you want a miscellaneous account? Yes, you're going to have your emergency fund, and no, your fund money is not coming out of your emergency fund, right? But that will be there for the unexpected things that come up, like finding mold in your house, right? Being able to get that out of there. Like something breaks down, an appliance that you need. Yes, that is something you can use your emergency fund for. That kind of thing, right? Somebody passes away and you need to go to the funeral and you want to go to the funeral. You can use your emergency fund for that. But you're not going to use that income, that money in your emergency fund for disposable income. And you know that. There's that set in stone hard boundary around that. So what can you do? You can create a miscellaneous account if you want another account. You can find an account that you're okay with storing some extra cash in. Like if you're good at not spending all of your income and just leaving like $100 in your account at the end of the pay cycle, then by all means do it. But if you're not that disciplined, open another account. If you want to put it in your bills account, I caution, because then it gets really easy to pull it out, randomly throughout the time. I know I've tried it. I am guilty of that. But go ahead and do it if that's what you want to do. If you want to put it in your bills account, have at it. If you want to put it into a savings account so that it's there and you can only pull it when you absolutely need it, kind of thing, to again put more boundaries in place, then by all means do that. It's whatever you're comfortable with. That is how you get rid of the fear of not being able to pay for those things that come up but you'd really like to have, is just having a little bit of cushion in some account, like $100 cushion for those forgotten expenses, for those fun things that you forgot you needed to do, or you forgot to buy something important with your groceries and you spent all your grocery money, right? For those things. And so that is going to help you release the fear, which is going to help you then put these habits in place. So I want to go over them again real quick. The first one, do it on payday. The second one, put it into your budget if you can. If you can put it into your monthly budget, the one that's set in stone, by all means, do it. And then the third way, automate it. Get these habits and systems in place in your budget so that you are able to reach your goals and achieve your financial success that you are looking for faster, rather than just like sitting back and staying stuck in the systems that you already have. If you want to change, if you want something different, you have to take a step. And this, I believe, is one of the best ways that you can really start flexing and working that saving muscle, especially if you don't want to worry about automation and you don't want to dive into figuring out how to put it into your bill system. That's fine. But do it on payday. Do it the day you get it and get it out of your mind, out of sight, out of mind. Then you don't have to worry about that disposable income mindset coming in and using all that income that will be gone by the end of the pay cycle. I don't care how disciplined you are not perfect, and it will be gone at least 1 out of 3 months every single quarter, right? So definitely do it on payday. That is my first and foremost advice for you with flexing that savings muscle. Okay, so if you would like more support on what we talked about in today's episode, then make sure that you grab yourself a budget audit, because this is where we will see what it is that you're currently doing and what it is that you'd like to do, and then create a plan to get you there. But specifically in relation to this episode, I can help you create your do it on payday system, like figure out what steps you need to take to actually get that done, right? I can help you set up the automation and I can help you build it into your systems, build it into your budget. This is all things that I can help you with, and I would love to be there to support you through this, answer your questions, and actually help you achieve these habits and create these boundaries so that you are reaching and achieving your financial goals, be it paying off your debt or saving up for a vacation, right? This is what I do, and I get super excited to help others like you get through this and work through your struggles. So all you have to do to get yourself a budget audit is email me at mollybennell@gmail.com with the subject line budget audit. Again, that's Molly Bennell, MOLLY, B as in boy, ENELL, @gmail.com with the subject line budget audit. By emailing me, we can book your call, we can get your questions answered, and then get you achieving your financial goals so that you are killing it at savings and getting that debt paid off. Alrighty, so with that being said, I will see you right back here next week on another episode of the One Income Family Podcast.
Before you go, I hope this episode has ignited a fire inside of you, and I pray that it creates long-lasting impact. Did you know that you too can impact other one-income families? All you have to do is leave a written review, and you help get the podcast in the hands of other mamas in need. You can also text this episode to that friend who is also knee-deep in the same kind of chaos as you and inspire them to make a change. Also, your review lets me know that you're enjoying the show, and that lights me up. I get so excited to hear from you. Another great way that we can connect, though, is through the One Income Family community over on Facebook. So after you're done leaving that 5-star review, head on over to the community where you will find other mamas working their way out of the chaos. You can ask your questions and connect with others who truly understand what you are going through. I cannot wait to connect with you in the community. Until then, I will see you right here next week on another episode of the One Income Family Podcast.